Welcome back to Rising Pakistan. This session is going to be in English. The other day, I was visiting a friend, and in his office, on his table, I saw a book, and the book said similarities between Indonesia and Pakistan, and I was intrigued. I said, "What? Indonesia, Pakistan, different?" Yes, religion. Predominant religion, Islam, similar. But other than that, what are the other similarities that we have with Indonesia? So I took this book with me and went home and read it and had a glance to it. And then I thought maybe we could invite the ambassador of Indonesia to Pakistan, His Excellency Adam Mulawarman Tugio. And he is with me in the studios today, and we are going to talk about actual similarities and what can we learn as a future touristic destination for the whole world, Pakistan, from a country like Indonesia. Excellency, good morning. Assalamu alaikum.
Good morning. Assalamu alaikum. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for sparing time, and I love this beautiful shirt, Excellency, that you are wearing. Is it a typical Indonesian artisan work?
Yes, well, we call it this batik. It is, one of the heritage of Indonesians traditions and cultures, first introduced in 10 centuries. But nowadays, we use batik almost on every occasions, on daily life and also on special occasions like ceremonies, wedding ceremonies. On Eid, certainly on Eid, people's wearing a new batik shirt. And this is reflections of. There's a lot of motif in batik of Indonesia, but we have like 500 ethnic in Indonesia. They speak different language, but we have one lingua franca of Bahasa Indonesia who glue the Indonesian people to become one.
In Pakistan, we have about more than 70 languages. In Indonesia, you have more than 400.
Yes, we have more than 400, languages which, spoken by people who reside in Indonesia.
Excellency Adam Tugio मुझे बता रहे हैं कि इंडोनेशिया में 400 से ज़्यादा ज़बानें बोली जाती हैं, 400 से ज़्यादा ज़बानें बोली जाती हैं. And obviously the unique factor about Indonesia geographically in the world is that it is based on thousands and thousands of islands. Yeah. Tell me about that. How do you guys commute, on ships and boats, and how does it happen?
Well, there's very interesting questions. Yeah, Indonesia being the largest archipelagic countries, we have 17,000 of islands.
17,000 islands.
Wow. And we are blessed with this natural resource, the beauty natural. Because the characteristic of Indonesia being archipelagic and also located in equatorial lines, it's provide us abundant natural resources. Yeah. Our forests, for instance, provide
and the weather as well.
The weather also, and many people not aware that in Indonesia, because of these geographical locations, we are the spawning ground of yellowfin tunas, actually in the southern part of Indonesia, southern part of Java Island. Okay. So when the yellowfin tunas, they wants to breed, they swim to Indonesian part, and then once they breed, then they goes until Alaska, until Samudra Atlantic or the Atlantic Oceans, Pacific Oceans. But the spawning ground of yellowfin tunas, actually located in the southern part of Java.
Java Islands.
Java Island.
All right. And so, which part of Indonesia are you from?
Well, I come from Central Java, small village close to Yogyakarta, but I spent all my childhood in Jakarta, which is a metropolitans like Islamabad or like Lahore in terms of the dynamic city.
I know. So, Excellency, coming back to this book, Similarities Between Pakistan and Indonesia, I would like to, with your permission, I would like to show some pictures in it. For instance, we have kofta and you have bakso. Correct? So देखिए जी, ये सिमिलैरिटीज़ हैं जो इंडोनेशिया और पाकिस्तान के दरमियान है, खानों में, हिस्ट्री में, पर्सनालिटीज़ में। तो ये जनाब कोफ्ता हो गया, और इसके बाद आ गया कटलेट्स एंड परकेडेल। हाँ जी, ये जो हमारे कटलेट, जिसको हम उर्दू में कटलस कहते हैं, कटलस बनाए बाजी शाजिया ने कि नहीं? The cutlets and perkedel, and we have shami kebab and so is this very similar?
Well, yes, I think this book actually, what we are trying to capture is the process of acculturation process, whereby we show to the Pakistani people how the Indo-Pakistan subcontinents also have an influence in the Indonesian cultures. So you can see from the cuisine, for instance, you make some reference on the cuisines, but one of the favorite cuisines in Pakistan, for instance, pakora. We also have bakwan, which is very delicious, like a pakora. So now we are talking about the cuisines, but there's a lot of aspect whereby the acculturation process also are happening in Indonesia, the influence of continents of Indo-Pakistan. And I think another areas whereby we share a lot of similarities, because as you rightly pointed out, that being the two biggest Muslim populations countries, then there is a lot of shared values which actually reserve a good reservoir of goodwill between the two countries.
Excellency, what is the general perception of Pakistan as a country? Because our brand image internationally has not been really good during the terrorism times when there were terrorist attacks and bomb blasts in Pakistan. So internationally, Pakistan has been linked with the word terrorism in the past. What is the general perception of a country named Pakistan for an ordinary Indonesian?
Well, we see the Pakistan is very, friendly, and I happened to experience myself when I landed here in Pakistan. I see people in Pakistan, they are very approachable, it's very open, and I think Pakistan is also very dynamic. Very dynamic. There's I see more talented people in Pakistan nowadays, and if you look at the statistic, for instance, for those who mastering the techno-savvy of young generations,
exactly, absolutely,
wanted come from Pakistan.
True.
So I think the Indonesians people have a good perception about the Pakistan, about the Pakistan's peoples, and I was kept asked by my friend, is that true that we don't need to go to Europe if we want to taste, the snow activities? Yeah, I told them, you just come to Pakistan, go to the northern part of Pakistan, you will see a lot of beautiful places.
Absolutely.
So this is some things that, nowadays people more realize in Indonesia, but I believe not only in Indonesia, but in various parts of
the world, yes.
That Pakistan has a lot of potentials in terms of the tourists.
Excellency Adam Tugio is with me. He's the Ambassador of Republic of Indonesia to Islamabad, to Pakistan. We take a short break in Rising Pakistan and we resume the conversation with him. And I would like to ask Excellency about the tourism of Indonesia, and what can we as Pakistanis learn from the touristic and tourism experience of a country like Indonesia. Stay with me. This is Rising Pakistan. Excellency Adam Tugio, Ambassador of Republic of Indonesia to Pakistan, is my guest today on Rising Pakistan, and we are having a candid, interesting conversation. Obviously, the basis of this conversation is this book, as I told you, Similarities Between Indonesia and Pakistan. And in this session, let me unfold these two similarities. Look at this, the sugarcane juice, which is called raw in or ganne ka ras in Pakistan, And Indonesia, you call it?
Estebu.
Estebu. And ये देखिए आपके how similar, दोबारा कट कीजिएगा, how similar are the pictures, and in a vegetable market, the way the ladies are shopping, it's called bazaar and you call it pasar. So a lot of social similarities as well. Excellency, now let's talk a bit about tourism. Pakistan is now, the government of Pakistan and Pakistan is now heading back towards our tourism potential. What tips would you like to give to a country like Pakistan, keeping your Indonesian experience of immense tourism in mind?
Well, I think Pakistan is blessed also with the beautiful nature. There's a lot of places to go, and in addition to that, also the traditions. I think one way we in Indonesia, we try also to preserve traditions like batik that I'm wearing now, and introduce it into more daily life. And we celebrate the festivals also as not only part of the traditions, part of the way how we preserve the traditions, but also to give more additional values, because nowadays with the tourist activities, we can introduce the tradition as part of the cultural event. Many provinces in Indonesia, for instance, they introduce, while they have their own local traditions that they celebrate it on yearly basis, now they introduce this also as part of the event to attract more tourism, be it a domestic tourist or international tourist, because with that then people realize not only how important to preserve the traditions to well, there are different festivals. You can
carnivals, festivals.
Carnival festival, which is some have a religious festival, another national festivals, cultural festivals to promote mutual understanding, to promote harmonies. But also, if we can project those, then we can invite more people to come to visit a certain provinces, certain regions who practices this, And another things also, which now I'm here trying to promote batik, for instance. Now I will invite Pakistani students and people who are interested to know more about batik to make batik with this Pakistani special design. So I think
like we have ajrak in Sindh.
Yeah. You have an ajak in sense, but you also have like a henna or something. You can transport it, for instance, into batik, because batik is like it's a method how we make this kind of special traditions. But you can use this as ways to introduce more of your cultures to the wider audience. So Pakistans also can identify some of their cultures, then invite others to come up with an idea how other peoples then interpret, have the interpretations about the local culture of Pakistan, and with that then we introduce more Pakistans to the wider audience.
Have you visited any other place in Pakistan other than Islamabad?
Yeah, I went to the closest ones to Muri, which is beautiful places. I went also to Lahore, and I saw there's a lot of places to visit in Lahore.
Yeah.
And I think
Lahore in itself is a big cultural touristic destination.
And then there's a lot of civilizations that in Lahore, which I think that have also a value in terms to promote the civilizations of Pakistan, how Pakistan reached with the cultural heritage.
True. How easy or difficult is it for an ordinary Pakistani to go to Indonesia as a tourist? For instance, an ordinary Pakistani, maybe after COVID times when COVID is over, the tourism industry is back to normal all over the world. How a person like myself apply for a touristic visa for Indonesia?
Well, nowadays we also embracing the digital technology. So people who want to travel to Indonesia, they don't need to go to the embassies to apply a visa. They can apply it online. We appoint a tour agency here in Pakistan.
Okay.
Some located in Islamabad, some located in other cities. So go to those, tour operators. You know the formulaire, the forms that you can fill it virtually because they use digital platforms.
So it's a digital electronic form that you fill in. Okay.
Yeah. So it's easy. Just fill in the form, digital, and then wait a few days to get a visa. And due to the COVID,
do you guys encourage Pakistani tourists in Indonesia?
Yeah, and in fact, we are pleased to learn that the trajectory is positive. More and more people to visit Indonesia.
Okay.
Last year, before the COVID, there was 15,000 of Pakistani who traveled to Indonesia. And not only that, because we also invite Pakistan students to study in Indonesia.
Right.
To have a real taste of living in Indonesia.
Interesting.
And
is it expensive?
Well, I think in terms of living in Indonesia is quite similar.
Similar to Pakistan.
To Pakistan.
No, I meant education, like studying in an Indonesian university. Is this expensive for the tuition fee?
No, in terms of the tuition, I think it's quite similar.
Quite similar too.
With Pakistan's. Now, a good news that we just announced more than 22 students from Pakistan got scholarships. The numbers look small, but in terms of percentage, it's quite big because close to 10% of the candidates from all over the world who are accepted to receive the scholarship are come from Pakistan. So I think this is a good,
and it's really good that the youth of Pakistan is interacting with the youth of Indonesia, and they're making friendships, they're making connections, the synergies are being developed, and I think that's really healthy. Excellency, Adam Tugio, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so very much
for coming to Rising Pakistan, and I'm happy that my audience got to know about the similarities between the two cultures and history and the way we live.
Well, thank you very much once again for the invitations, and I invite all the Pakistanis to come to visit Indonesia and taste the real similarities between the two countries.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. We now go for a break, ladies and gentlemen, and ब्रेक से जब हम वापस आएंगे तो जैसा कि मैं प्रोग्राम के आगाज़ में आपको बता रहा था कि मेरे बड़े प्यारे दोस्त फ़ख्र आलम आज आ रहे हैं राइजिंग पाकिस्तान में, और उसकी एक वजह यह भी है कि कल से PTV होम पे फ़ख्र का एक नया रियलिटी शो शुरू हो रहा है. पता नहीं 60 सेकंड्स के 60 मिनट्स के 60 वीक्स के 60 मंथ्स के 60 ईयर्स की कुछ रियलिटी शो की कहानी है जो मैं खुद से अनफोल्ड नहीं करना चाह रहा, बिकॉज आई वांट कि फ़ख्र आपको बताएं कि ये शो क्या है, इसमें आपके लिए वो क्या लेके आया करेंगे, हफ्ते में 2 बार ही हुआ करेंगे. सारी डिटेल्स हम इस ब्रेक के बाद आपको बताएंगे. रही मेरे साथ, ये है राइजिंग पाकिस्तान.